So, Manny, welcome to our second episode of It Goes On. I appreciate you being here. We'll jump kind of straight into it. Tell me about you, man. Where'd you come from? How'd you get here? Everything else.
Oh, thanks for the opportunity, Brandon.
Absolutely.
And, I hope it helps others. Name's Manny Sanchez, born and raised in New York City. Right after high school, ended up through a family transfer, job transfer in Florida, Tampa Bay area. Proceeded to be there for 22 years. And just living life, working. Part of that time was spent in first responder capacity. I was an EMT in Florida, just working on trying to help others. And on February 13th of 2005, life changed.
Okay.
I was technically on work. I was heading in and had a retired school teacher not paying attention and rushed to get to a dinner that he was already late for.
Okay.
In a black Camaro, decide to violate my right of way. And
Were you in a personal vehicle or work?
it was work-related vehicle.
Okay.
And going into the house. And next thing you know, boom, and life changed. We collided head-on my side. Did not have any time to react because he just completely made an improper left turn, cutting me off.
That's tough.
So there was no time to really brake.
Right.
The last thing I remember as the headlights came at me was, "Oh fuck!"
Right.
And I just
Heard.
braced. I knew this was going to be bad. I didn't know how bad, but I knew.
What kind of car were you driving?
I was driving in a Ford.
Okay.
at
Was
the
it like fully airbagged, like the newer
Yeah, no,
ones? And had
it
the
was fully
sides and-
it was fully airbagged. Restrained and everything.
Okay.
But boom, and he was in a brand new Camaro back then, so he had his airbags and everything. But of course, he struck on the passenger side. It struck me on the driver's side.
Right.
And I remember the front end starting to disintegrate in front of me, and I blacked out.
Oh, okay.
First time ever I blacked out. I just knew that I braced myself, and I just said literally those words.
Yeah.
Fuck.
100%. Yeah.
And when it was all said and done and I came to, I could not remember where I was. People stopped to call it in.
Okay.
And help. And they had to cut me out. They had to remove me from the vehicle. Ended up going to Tampa General Hospital. And the combined speed at the time was equivalent to me hitting a wall at 120 miles an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, pretty bad.
So did you remember the trip to the hospital because you black out, or did you black out all the way through?
I blacked out. I came to trapped in the car.
Oh, so you woke up in the car.
I woke up in the car,
Okay.
Bleeding from a head wound. I was hurting, but I knew because of my training as an EMT, stay still.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't know
move.
what's happening.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't even undo the seatbelt. Just stay still. Because some citizens came over trying to see if they could get me out. I'm like, no. Leave me here. They'll come. I knew they were coming. I'm like, they're going to come and help me.
100%.
Stay still. And sure enough, they showed up. The rescue crew got in there with me. They're like, where's it hurting? I'm like, oh, pretty much everywhere.
Right.
They're like,
Where is it not?
yeah. They're like, don't move. I'm like, trust me, I haven't moved a bit. They're like, you haven't? I go, no, I moved for a moment at the beginning instinctively, and then I said stop. I just remember my training because so many people do the opposite when they're in that situation.
Right.
They got me out. They're like, we got you, brother. Hold on. We got you. We'll get you in. The long and short of it is that I ended up with should have been fatal traumatic brain injury.
Okay.
I've got 4 screws, 4 plates and 8 screws in my head as a souvenir.
So let's talk about that for a second.
Sure.
So obviously there was a major surgery. How long were you kind of under the knife there?
Several hours. I don't remember, to be honest. I'd have to go back to the records, which I have at home.
Right.
But it was a whole day affair.
Yeah.
It was a whole day affair. It was a 50% compression of the left hemisphere with a midline shift. And for those who don't understand what I just
no
babbled,
idea what that means. Yeah.
your brain is separated into left and right.
Right.
50% of my left brain was squished.
Okay.
That
Because
should
of swelling or because
of blood,
bone?
the bleed.
Okay.
The bleed. That right there should have killed me.
Mm-hmm.
Brain shouldn't be able to handle that. Then the midline shift is your stem base
Okay.
at the back of your brain.
Right.
That handles all your autonomic functions, your breathing, your heart rate. That's not meant to budge.
Right.
Because it's a small little opening at the base of your skull. That's what snipers aim for when they want to take you out.
Sure. Yeah.
Because it's instant light out.
Right.
You don't even have time to snatch a trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you, there's a reason for it. It shifted off its midline.
Okay.
That right there should have killed me. Because they came in and they're talking to me, and the head of neurosurgery for Tampa General, which is a level 1 trauma hospital.
Right.
Fantastic hospital. He's like, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
Are you all right? He keep coming in every couple minutes. How are you feeling? Are you all right? And finally, I just got kind of frustrated. I'm like,
ask, right?
Hey, Doc,
hey, man,
what the fuck? Why is
yeah.
everybody coming in asking me if I'm all right? And they, and by this time they had done, I had MRIs and everything done on the injury, and I'm trying to condense it for time. There was so much more details, but we could easily spend a good hour, 2 hours talking just on my whole journey with the injury.
Right,
So it's being condensed. He finally told me, he goes, you should not be alive and talking to me. I've had people that have had significantly less injuries, not survive.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how best to save your life. And I was like, okay. And at the time, my wife was 4 months pregnant with our daughter. And he broke it down to me. If we don't do surgery, you're dead. If we do surgery, greater than 80% chance you're dead. I'm like, so really, I have no choice. And he's like, we got to do this.
Yeah, it's all or nothing.
He goes, I'm going to do my best to save your life, but I have to be honest, you shouldn't be talking to me right now. And I said, okay. And at that time, I did not have a faith or anything. I was far from having any kind of a faith. I said, all right. I signed the paperwork, the releases, because they were telling me how bad it was. They're like, we need you to sign these releases. And I'm like, I have no choice. He's like, you need to do this surgery, but we don't know what to expect with you. You're a case study right now. And I'm like, okay, right on. I'm something special. Had the surgery. It went well. Was in the ICU for about a week, if I remember correctly. It's kind of a haze, even all these years later. They treated me fantastically, and I recovered astonishingly quick.
Yeah.
No swelling, because they were worried about the rebound swelling.
Okay, so like rebound swelling, meaning after the...
When they empty it out and clear it out, your brain from the trauma will then, because it's a tissue also, will now start to swell. And the rebound swelling can kill you just as easily as everything else.
Gotcha.
Because your brain has nowhere to go.
Right.
So he's like, and that's his biggest concern. He's like, you're talking to me right now, great. What's going to happen once I relieve it all and your brain bounces back? He goes, that is what will probably kill you if it does. Excuse me. I have a little bit of allergies.
Oh, you're good. So then...
Here I am.
Yeah, right, exactly. So how long was the recovery process for something like that?
Recovery process has been 20 years.
Oh, okay. Heard.
Okay.
How long was the actual, just the first push?
The first push was a good solid 6-7 months.
Okay.
Because from the effects of it during the journey, I had trouble speaking. I still do sometimes. I stumble. You'll see me hesitate when I'm trying to put words together. I can't do math really
Okay.
because I suffered permanent damage to parts of my brain that not only deal with emotion, but deal with analytical problem solving. Whereas before that was never an issue. So even now I use like an app to do my tip and I'll count
Yeah, 100%.
my fingers because it doesn't make sense to me and I have to re-verify what I'm doing. I had trouble signing my name. There was times when my wife, God bless her, would grab my hand and would guide
Help
me
stabilize you.
to. There was one time we were having dinner and I'm holding a drink and all of a sudden, without even thinking, there it goes. And I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And it was my brain disconnecting. It would just be like, nope.
Nope, don't work no more.
Nope. We're not holding that right now. So things I love to do, like reading books, became really hard to do. It was physically taxing to read a book. And I was a voracious reader. So there was a lot of changes.
Yeah.
But I did get myself back to work after about 7-8 months, I think.
Okay.
Like that.
You went back in the same field or did you change fields?
Yeah, I went back to work because this was all work related. So I went back to work. I needed to. I had a daughter.
100%.
Because one of the last things before surgery, I didn't have a face, but as my wife was walking with me to surgery, I just said, Lord, if you're real, I don't know if you are, but God, if you're real, all I'm asking is to be able to see my daughter be born.
Yeah, 100%.
I'll deal with everything else. I didn't know what to deal with. And he granted that for me.
There you go.
Still didn't make me a Christian, but
You're like whichever amorphous thing.
That came later on. That came later on, but that didn't happen right there.
Okay.
I didn't see any bright shining light or anything like that.
Right. Other than the operating room.
But my prayer, but my prayer was answered.
Okay.
And now I'm a dad with a little girl, and I got to handle my business and take care of my family.
Yeah.
Even though I knew deep down inside I wasn't right, you got to suck it up and push on.
Yeah.
You can't quit. I can't quit on them.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't have the option of it. And the original plan was my wife to stay at home and raise her, and I wanted to fulfill that for her.
Okay.
Life had a different plan for me.
So all that took place in Florida. How long until you decided to make your way up to here in Oklahoma? And what caused that shift too?
That was mid-2008.
Okay.
And that was because her mother passed away suddenly after a battle with lung cancer. It was aggressive. When they found it, it was stage 3.
Was she a smoker or anything?
She was a smoker, a heavy smoker. Both her and her dad, her and her husband, mom and dad are both heavy smokers.
That's rough.
Mom didn't feel good. Rest in peace, Ruby. I love you. It took her out quick.
Oh, yeah.
She fought hard, but it took her out. She was treated at the Cancer Treatment Center here in Tulsa before they closed down.
Gotcha.
She fought the best she could. But yeah, she was called back home.
Sure.
And right after that, my wife asked me, Mary, her name is Mary, she asked me, can we go back home so I can be closer to Dad? And my family all lives in Florida still, but my heart said, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't imagine him going through what he's going through. So I said, yeah. And she even asked, she goes, it'll take you away from your parents and your family. I go, I'm a grown man. My mom and dad will understand that I got to do what's right for my family.
Right.
So if this is what you need, let's get you, because we were still in Florida during Mom's battle. So she would fly up here to be with her,
right,
and spend time with her. Go. Even Christmas, she spent up here. I spent Christmas alone. She was up here with our daughter, and I was like, no, go to your mother, okay? So you just do what you got to do.
That's it. Yeah.
So we ended up here. We ended up here just outside of Tulsa in Collinsville. And I've loved it. It's been different. I wasn't sure what to make of it. Yeah, there's been some adjusting to it, but
For sure.
I'm a transplanted Okie.
That's it. Let's go. Well, you've been here now for 15 years? Something like that, 17 years, maybe 16 years? So, I mean, that's quite some time in this area. So,
No. Still in the same house. We bought the house in 2008, and that's it. That's home, and here we are.
Okay.
I wouldn't have met you.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly.
Things happen for a reason.
So let's talk a little bit about being out here. You know, obviously there's a lot of different pieces and parts, but one of the battles that you told me about was the weight gain, weight loss.
Sure.
What caused? Let's start with the weight gain, because I mean I know that took time. Obviously, you don't just immediately gain a bunch of weight. I mean, you do if you have injuries, but
Yeah. It was once I ended up with a disability pension from work.
Okay.
Because they deemed me not able to continue because of my injuries.
Right.
And I fought. I wanted to work, but the reality was you're done. So I was thrust into a position of being a stay-at-home parent. The roles got reversed.
Right.
I did try to find work, but when you mention to people that you've suffered what you've suffered,
it's hard.
Phone calls don't arrive. Other more suitable candidates are found.
Sure.
So I was like, well, I got to do what I got to do. So
Yeah.
And my wife worked in the medical field and still does. And she worked at Tampa General Hospital, which is one of the reasons why when they said, we're going to take you to this hospital, I'm like, no, TGH.
Yeah.
You know, at the time she worked in their surgery department. So
Yeah.
she continued working there. We talked about it because the original plan was her staying home. And she's like, it's not your fault. I'm not blaming you. We just got to do what we got to do. And she's an angel for that.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a tough ask for a lot of people. Yeah.
It is. So being a stay-at-home dad with a little girl, especially now in Oklahoma, snacks and taking you out and this and that, and the more sedentary lifestyle, because I've always been a big guy.
Okay.
But back at work, I was working out 4 to 5 days a week, and when I met my wife, I was 275.
Okay.
Solid, always big.
Yeah.
Never a thin guy. I don't know what thin is like.
Sure.
But with the sedentary lifestyle, being dad, hey, daddy, let's get this snack. Hey, daddy, let's get that snack.
Absolutely.
Okay, come on, honey, let's go. Do whatever you got to do. And also, it has to be addressed, especially for all those who suffer an injury. You're not alone. It changes you up here.
Okay.
And you fall into a bit of a dark place within yourself.
Gotcha.
And you try to keep it bottled up because you have others that are depending on you.
Yeah.
I was still a dad. I'm still a husband. I have to try to keep that away from them. I was fooling myself. I wasn't. The effects and the residuals of it are still there. But I've seen it with friends who are veterans that come back from injuries in battle.
100%.
You suck it up. You put it inside to try to keep the smile on your face and keep pushing forward.
Yeah, 100%.
I still had a mission as a husband and a father to accomplish. So, and you kind of lose yourself in it.
So let's talk a little bit about that, because obviously depression is a major factor for a lot of people out there. This is not, that's one of the crazy things. A lot of people that have depression think it's just them, but it's probably the most pervasive mental issue that I'm aware of.
Yes.
It's a very, very broad thing for a lot of people. Did you see anybody? Did you seek therapy? What did you do to help kind of get through the dark times?
At the very beginning, I did. I saw a therapist, and I even took their pills.
Okay.
So the prescription meds, Very early on, from the very first one, which I think was Prozac.
Okay. Yeah, so I've been early, yeah. Because they don't do Prozac very often anymore.
Maybe not, I don't know, but didn't have good effects. And I was honest with my wife about it, and we tried a number of them. And they always left me with effects where I was like, no, I don't feel right. And it's not my injury talking, and it's not my ego and my pride talking. I don't feel right.
Yeah.
So I finally said enough of this, and I got off of them.
Okay. How long were you roughly on them? Do you remember? Was it a year, 6 months, 5 years?
A couple of years.
It was years.
Yeah, a couple of years. Several years, including anxiety, because from the PTSD, which they diagnosed me with,
Right.
I would have the nightmares at night.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I was never one to have nightmares in the past, so I'm like, oh, nightmares, yeah.
Drug-induced nightmares, no less, yeah.
Well, even without the drugs, for a while there, I had them until I did a different course of therapy that has thankfully removed them from me.
Okay.
Where I haven't had one in at least over 2 years or no.
Very cool.
It's called EMDR therapy, which is totally different.
Is that the radiant light one?
No, it uses sensors, electrical sensory input to retrain your mind.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I never heard of it before, and I gave it a try. I wasn't even sure how it would work holding these two paddles and focusing, but somehow it works to retrain how you associate certain things in your mind. Yeah, it worked.
Okay. Excellent. Absolutely.
But I did the medication, went through all that, tried to keep that within myself as much as I could, failed at it. Because no matter how much you try to bottle in it, you never will. So the best thing to do is be honest with yourself that you never will, and don't see it as a failure when you talk to others about it. Because the problem is not only as people, but especially as men, that's seen as a weakness.
Yeah.
You need to suck it up, be quiet, and hold it in. Nobody wants to hear you crying. No, I understand you don't want to go crying to everybody, but you need to talk about it because it's just a ticking bomb that's going to go.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry, brother. You're not holding it in. You're not. Okay? It's going to pop. When it pops, it's all a question of how bad is it going to pop. Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
So don't be afraid of that. I know it's something that concerns us as men. Don't. Because the release, when you finally get it off you, is so much more than the concern you had before.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So then what did you do to get off the drugs exactly? Did you just made
stopped.
the decision? You said cold turkey?
I said no. I stopped, but the bad part with that is when I stopped, I also stopped the therapy for a while.
Oh, okay.
And that lasted for a couple of years until finally, as I explained to my wife, I said, every person has a breaking point. Whether you're an addict, whether you have some kind of difficulty you're struggling with, you have to hit that point where you're in the pit.
Yeah.
And then you want to climb out. And I finally hit that point. And I don't remember the date, but I remember looking at her going, I think I need to go see someone.
Okay.
Can you help me find someone?
Yeah, 100%.
And she did. And it turned out to be a Christian therapist, which I wasn't expecting, but I have no problem with it.
Sure.
She's the one who introduced me to the EMDR therapy, and it was a fundamental shift, and it really helped. And here I am today talking to you.
100%. So there's an interesting thing that you just pointed out that I think about quite often, and it's entertaining to me. For people like you, people like me, when we lean on our wives to help take care of us, to like find us a doctor, find us a dentist, whatever. A lot of people think it's like, because the dudes just don't want to do it. And I don't think that's the case. I think it's, the reason we lean on people like that is because we know they have our best interest in mind and think they'll do a better job than we will. That's how I think about it. It's a lot of people say like, you can schedule your own doctor. I'm like, I hear you, but I'm not going to look at the things she's going to look at and know what to ask for and try to find the right thing. And she will. So I trust her to make sure my best interest is taken care of. So do you feel that way as well?
Oh, 1,000,000%. I've always said in front of everybody, she's been my angel. I haven't been easy to live with.
Sure.
Okay.
I can imagine.
I have not been easy to live with, but I've loved her wholeheartedly. She's been my ride or die. She knows me.
Yeah.
She's lived it with me.
100%.
So when I said, can you help me find someone? She immediately got to work and she asked the questions that needed to be asked. And
Right.
I just trusted her. If
Okay.
if I can't trust her,
Who can I trust?
because at this point in our journey, because as of right now, we've been married 21 years.
Okay. Congrats.
Thanks. And it's been a journey.
Absolutely.
But at this point, she knows me better than my own parents. Okay? So
For sure.
Who else is going to be your biggest advocate? And sometimes as men, we worry about, is she going to look at me less? You know, by going to her and seeking help. I wasn't looking at her that way. She's the one that's with me. She's my partner.
Absolutely.
I'm the first to admit I failed in not acknowledging my brokenness and what I needed help for quicker, because that's so common in men. Shut up, be quiet, take it in, bottle it up, and then next thing you know, boom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so at no point in time am I trying to present myself as a saint.
Sure.
I have my regrets from it. I wish I could have done, because as much as you try to keep the effect of the injury and everything wrapped around it away from your family, they feel it.
Absolutely.
So I have regrets concerning things I should have done differently with her, with our daughter. As a dad, it made me hyper protective of our daughter. She's my only daughter.
Absolutely.
I need to keep her safe.
100%.
You know? Comes with it, which while they weren't done intentionally, I gotta own it.
Right.
I gotta own it, and I can't sit here and be like, "Oh, I was the best thing since sliced bread." No, I messed up too. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Weight loss journey. Weight gain.
Oh, yeah.
I gained the weight.
Yeah,
like I said, when I met her, I was a solid brick shit house. You know, 6 feet, 275. Let's go.
Heard. Yeah.
You want to dance? Let's dance.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not. It was a lot of weight.
Sure.
I'll put it like this. I tried trainers.
Okay.
I tried.
So let's kind of frame it for a second. So slowly over time, you put this weight on.
Absolutely.
Obviously.
Years.
And what finally made you pull the trigger to be all like, "Hey, this is out of hand"?
It was multiple attempts at hiring trainers, following their eating plans, following their workout plans, doing different diets like Atkins and keto. And I lose some weight, but then I gain it. And I lose and I gain it. And the seesaw and the effect it was having on me over time. And I finally came to the point after the last time in the gym and the disappointment with that, I finally hit my low point with it, because I had tried all those different things. And it doesn't help that your mental state with everything else.
That's the hardest one for me, is motivation.
I know people will connect with this, especially the ones that suffer with this. You get a fuck this attitude, because you just get so tired, because every day feels like a struggle. And you're like, fuck it. I don't want to go run.
Yep.
I don't want to go lift weights. I'm just tired, and I just want to say, fuck it, man.
Yeah, man. That's my biggest issue, is motivation.
And that's where I was. And my wife would try to encourage me without nagging. God bless her. She, like I said, she's my angel for a reason. But like I tried to explain to her one day, you just don't understand the darkness that you end up falling into within yourself, that even when you hear the person you love the most saying, "Hey, yo, McFly, let's go."
McFly.
All right. No, you just, you know, but I finally hit that point and I said no. And I looked into bariatric surgery. I was going to get the sleeve.
Yeah.
She had gained a little bit of weight also. I loved her just the way she was.
100%, yeah.
But she also made the decision that she wanted to go on that journey with me. And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
So we were doing the plan and everything.
Right, because you have to have
pre-surgery.
a whole bunch of different things. Yeah.
Tests and everything. They want you losing a certain target amount of weight before you go in. So they're wanting you to do all this to show your commitment to it.
Right.
Because it's so common. People think weight loss surgery is a one and done. You can gain all the weight back.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
And we knew she's passed away, but we knew a lady that had it, and she gained it all back and even more.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, because the surgery's not cheap. So
Right.
COVID hit, and I was about to get mine done, and due to the restrictions, I wasn't able to make some appointments, and they reset me.
Oh, so you got to start from scratch?
And that pissed me off.
Absolutely.
I was like, fuck this,
I mean, if you can't make it to the appointment, what do you do, right?
You guys don't want us coming in because stay 6 feet apart and all this bullshit.
That's insane.
And I quit for a couple months. She decided during that time that that was something she wanted to pursue. She started the program, and that motivated me to get back in it as well. So I restarted it. And then in 2021, she had the surgery. I was finishing up my portion so I could have the surgery next.
Okay.
At that point, her job, which is still in the medical field, was instituting the jabs.
Okay.
And I don't care about people's opinions. I know there's pros and cons. I had always, because of my background in EMS, the research I did looking up all the credible journals and everything, I was like, they're not doing enough research. This new mRNA technique is totally untested on people. This has so many red flags. No.
Yeah, sure.
Because I've had all the other vaccines.
Right.
I'm not an anti-vaxxer.
Right.
But this one had too many red flags.
Sure.
Too many. And I said, no, I made my mind. I'm not going to risk our lives and our safety.
Right.
Simply for a heightened flu. Because
in
late 2020, they both got it.
Yeah.
They both caught it. She caught it. We believe our daughter caught it at school and brought it home.
Probably. Yeah. Listen, I say it all the time, man. Kids, if you get sick, it was your kid's fault.
Yeah, no, for real, testify. They were both sick with COVID.
Yeah.
I took care of them both. She even told me, hey, sleep in the spare bedroom away from me. I said, no, I'm sleeping right next to you.
Yeah.
I'm trusting. By this point, I was a Christian. That's a whole nother story.
Sure.
But I said, if the Lord wants to call me home, he'll call me home. You're my wife. I'm staying with you.
Right.
So I was right there in bed with her next
100%.
to her while she was battling COVID. And my daughter had hers, never got it.
Okay.
Negative on all tests. I wish they never had gotten it. But at this point, they have their immunity. So why am I going to bother with a jab? So they were looking to push it on everybody. And I told her, I said, why don't you start looking for another job?
Yeah.
Because your safety is not worth getting that jab.
100%.
And she, by this point, had had the surgery. And it had gone well for her. And I was prepared to keep going with mine. She did find a new job. Their insurance doesn't cover the surgery.
Oh, of course.
So now we're looking at easily upwards of over $18,000.
Easily, yeah.
And I just couldn't do it.
No, understandable.
But during this time, I had learned from their nutritionist how to change my behavior towards eating. And that led to me continuing to lose weight without any surgery. I think they call it Saxenda. It's very similar to Ozempic. It had some side effects that I didn't like either. So eventually I stopped that.
Sure.
And I just watch what I eat and made the changes that they taught us in the program, because they teach you these changes so you can make it a lifestyle.
Right.
It's not a diet.
Correct. Yeah.
And long story short is, here we are a little over 2 years later, and I'm now down 158, I believe 159 pounds.
Okay.
So far, all natural.
Yeah.
Just doing and enjoying it. It's now become my habit and my lifestyle. Lower carbs, higher protein, veggies and stuff like that, just eating better, but it's a mindset shift that
Very
began
much.
in that program,
Yeah.
which I had not ever been able to get and connect with the
Right.
trainers and all that.
So I find that that shift is such a huge deal when it comes down to eating right. And, when you talk to people about whether or not, they're dieting or they're not dieting or they're doing this style or doing that style, it's always that temporary push rather than the long-term change, and that's the hardest part for a lot of people is realizing like, oh, I'm going to lose 20 pounds and then I'm going to just go back to what I was doing. And it's like, that's not how it works.
No.
That's the hardest part. Is shifting the entire style of your eating habits as a whole.
Absolutely. It has to be ingrained as a foundational behavioral lifestyle change,
Right.
which in the past, when I heard that, I would roll my eyes at it like
It's
most
true,
people
though,
do.
yeah.
It's true. But the way they approached it as we need to begin with you incorporating this before the surgery so your post-surgery can be successful.
Right.
It continues to be successful for my wife, which I'm glad. And and because of the loss of the option for surgery, because it's just something my wife, God bless her, even said at one point with tears, I want you to get this, please, even if we have to put it on a credit card. I'm like,
Sure.
I can't do that to the family.
No, you can't. That's a burden at that point. You don't want to do that. Yeah.
And she's like, I wish I would have stayed at the job and gotten the shot. And I'm like, absolutely not. I said, and to this day, regardless of whatever happens in life, I do not regret putting her safety and concerns and our daughters, by extension,
Sure.
over me being fat.
Fair.
Okay? No, absolutely not. That somehow that decision gave me the motivation inside. You're not going to stop this. You're going to continue on the journey with her, even though it's different.
Right.
So while her journey incorporated the surgery, my journey was right there by her side. Without the surgery, I'm not going to say how much she lost. I'm going to respect her privacy.
Absolutely.
But
Get at it.
I'm down 159.
Yeah, that's huge.
And as of this point, I'm 19 pounds away from my goal,
Okay.
which my initial goal.
Yeah.
You're
stepping the goals.
Well, this is my final goal being realistic.
Okay.
I'm 19 pounds from that, and that leaves me 25 pounds heavier than when I met her.
Okay.
That's my ultimate goal. I want to be able to look at her and say, I weigh the same now, even though my body has changed.
Absolutely. It
from
will.
the weight gain. I weigh now what I weighed when we first met.
Right.
Just in here that I've reached that. I'm almost there.
That's excellent. Yeah.
And even if for some reason my body decides, nope, we're done, and I stay at 159, 160, that's still 159, 160. And I did it by just persevering.
Yeah.
Staying motivated and being persistent.
What do you think was the toughest part for the long-term challenge of the weight loss?
Good question. The toughest challenge, and it's adjusted. I can't really see as a toughest challenge. I mean, I still get to eat the things I want to eat. So I'm not denying myself. It's all been readjusted.
Right.
The toughest challenge has been, actually, I know what it is now. The original plan was for both of us to have the surgery together. And the toughest part is internally in my head, did I quit on her by not having the surgery?
The accountability to her through yourself?
Yes, yes, because it was never done to quit on her.
Right.
I made a decision. I knew the consequences. The options were going to put our family, because I'm on a disability pension. I don't have work. I provide for my family. I'm able to take care of all of us through it. Thank you, Lord,
Yeah,
for that
100%.
blessing. And I earned it. I definitely earned it. So anyone who looks at me and says, "Oh, well, you're just being lazy," man, fuck you.
Right.
We're about to throw. Okay.
Yeah.
This and everything that came with this was not something I wish on anybody.
100%.
So y'all can F off with that. And I know I'm a Christian and I just dropped the F bomb. Forgive me, Lord, but it's real is real. Okay. You're gonna flick that switch if you come at
100%.
me that way, because I still have always provided for my family.
Right.
But I couldn't put that burden on them simply to lose weight on my end. So I shifted and I say, I got to get it done however I can. And I have.
Yeah.
Because the average weight loss usually is around 120 pounds, 130 in surgery. I'm at 150, 158, 159. And I still got more I can lose.
Yeah.
So it's like,
So
but it was that. It was the feeling that maybe deep down inside, maybe she feels, you quit on me. And
Sure.
it's like, I understand, but I didn't quit on you.
right.
Because I'm right here with you. I'm still doing it. And that's more in here.
Right.
I think that the food and everything else, you adjust to that.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, looking forward now to the future here, you said that you're almost at that spot where you were whenever you were first married. Have you considered what happens once you hit it? Are you just trying to maintain that? Are you trying to start now working out and gaining that muscle back on, or like what are you looking at?
Yeah, I've already started that.
Okay.
Because I haven't lost a significant amount of muscle mass.
Sure.
Am I realistically going to get to where I was before? No, because that was a mid-30s young man.
Listen, we're old. Yeah. it's
And
fine.
I'm about to hit 55, bro.
Yeah, dude.
So if
No,
I
I
can
hear you.
maintain some decent muscle tone
Exactly.
and strength, I'm good with it. I'm much more mobile. I feel much more healthier. I can do things I used to enjoy that I lost, like riding my motorcycle.
Sure.
I can get on comfortably and ride my Harley and enjoy it. So there's a lot of life I've regained from it.
Absolutely.
The biggest thing is continue living the way you've been living, because it hasn't done me any wrong, and just keep it off.
That's it.
If I do gain, don't freak. You know how to adjust yourself.
Right.
And just keep on track. So yeah, if I can lose some more, great. But I'm being realistic. Am I going to get down to being 180? They want me at 185, 190 for my height.
Yeah, that's not realistic.
I wasn't that in high school.
Right.
In high school, I was over 200. Okay. And I was playing sports all day long.
Yeah.
Football and everything. I mean, I was a big son of a bitch.
Right.
Okay.
Sure. Absolutely.
So am I going to be that guy? No, I'm not going to be that guy. Am I going to be a healthier version of myself? Absolutely. And just stay healthy. One thing, I don't want to go back to where I was. That I know. Whatever else happens in life, I don't want to return back. It's a new me. It's a new life. With my faith that I now have in Jesus, it's a new outlook. The therapy that I've done, including the EMDR therapy, has truly helped. All those things taken together, it's been a long, hard journey.
For sure.
I don't recommend it to anybody.
No.
But
Heard.
I do say to all of you out there, whether it be the weight loss or the brain injury, be honest with yourself. I know it'll hurt at times, but push through it. There is the help out there. It is part trial and error. There's going to be times where you're just like, oh, fuck this, man. I'm tired.
For sure.
Whether it be through the therapy or through the weight loss. There is a solution out there, and you can find happiness on the other side. Because right now, I am happy. If you looked at me and said, Manny, are you happy? Yeah, I actually am. Is life perfect? No, life is not perfect. Am I happy? Yes, I am, because happiness comes from inside.
Absolutely.
Happiness is not a wife, a daughter, a motorcycle, a house, dogs, cats, a job. That's not happiness. You can get fulfillment from that. You can get joy from that. But happiness, If you're not happy, you got to look inside yourself.
Absolutely.
And it took a bit, but I finally am looking inside myself, and I'm like, you know what? I'm happy.
Good. That's very much one of my little core tenets that I have. And I talk about it with the wife every so often. My wife struggles with a few things similar. But as nicely as I can say it, my job as a husband is not to ensure her happiness. My job is to enable pieces and parts so that she can do it herself. And if you can't be happy on your own, you can never be happy any other way. You have to drive that yourself and say, hey, this is a thing that makes me, happy, or I'm fulfilled, or I'm whatever. But if you don't do that on your own, nobody else can do it for you.
Absolutely. 100%. There's a couple myths in life that we hold on to. Of course, the suck it up and press on.
Sure.
That they throw at us.
Right.
That you're familiar with as being a veteran.
Yep.
In relationships, happy wife, happy life. Lie.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a lie. That the lie that you can make your partner happy, that's a lie. The lie that marriage is 50-50. Those are all lies that society throws at you. I don't know where they came from, but no, marriage is 100. And some days you're 80. If it's me and you, and one day you're doing really good, and I come home from work and I'm like, man, I'm at a 20. And you're like, I got you.
Yeah, 100%.
I got you with that 80. And you may look at me and go, today I'm only feeling like a 60. I got you 40.
Yeah.
100, we're in it. I got to find happiness in myself, but we find enjoyment together as a team, because no one's going to be able to do that for you. And so as soon as you said it, I'm like, yes. You don't hear people say that too often. And you're one of the first persons outside of therapy
Fair enough.
that said that. The moment it came out of your mouth just now, I'm like, amen, brother, you are so on point.
Yeah, it's and that's the way the wife and I operate often. Is I'll go home and I'm like, hey, listen, I need half an hour just to decompress. Yeah, I was like, external stimulation has already been too much today. I need time, and just that alone, just saying that, like, a lot of guys won't.
No,
and it's not like me being selfish. It's just like, dude, I've had a fucking shit day. I'm tired. I'm exhausted, and I know I won't be in a good mindset for the family. So I need half an hour just. Hang out, silence, whatever.
And women do it also, except they do it quietly, playing on their phone and saying, I'm fine.
Yeah, yeah.
The I'm fine. And it's like, men, because I'm guilty of it. Guilty, I am not playing the saint here. Men, step up and say to your wife, even in my situation, dealing with dogs, dealing with a child, some days, dealing with a child in her teenage years, which she's awesome, and I'm proud of her, and I love her with all my heart. But there were days where I was just like,
100%.
Lord, give me strength. But I didn't take it to my wife and say, I've had a really shitty day, and I need this, that, or the other. And conversely, women withdraw, and they say, I'm fine, and they find something else. And it's like, come home and say, I've had a really shitty day and I need to talk to you. Guilty. We both failed at that as well. That was a big issue. Looking back, it's like individually accountable, but as a couple accountable and able to communicate. Yeah. And not brushing it off under I'm fine because I don't want to hurt your feelings. You don't want to hurt my feelings.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's tough, man. Marriage is tough.
But she's been my angel, even with all of that, because I know women, sad to say, I've seen it. It breaks my heart. You could see that the partner needs the help with the mental injury.
For sure.
And they bounce. And she didn't bounce on me. Yeah. She did not bounce on me. Yeah. So I love you, hun, babe. I love you with all my heart. I thank you so very much for the patience to endure through it, because I'm the first to admit I know I wasn't easy. And to my daughter, too. I love you, And I thank you. And I know that Dad wasn't necessarily at times, but it always came with love.
Yeah.
Just got to
100%.
own it.
Absolutely.
Got to own it.
Yeah, it's on me. That's 1,000%. I get it. All right, man. Well, before we wrap, because we're coming up on that wrap point here.
Sure.
For someone else who may have a traumatic brain injury and is struggling to reframe their perspective in life to, accept it, because that's first step is acceptance. What advice do you give to somebody that may be experiencing that?
Never really had that question thrown at me, so I'm kind of...
Yeah, no. I like the hard stuff here.
Yeah, the biggest thing, and yes, being honest about getting help is important. You have to be honest with yourself. You are not going to come out of that being the same man you were. One thing that pained me to tell my daughter, but it had to be said, is you never knew the man your mother married. And on that day, to a certain degree, the man that she married died because the injury changed me.
Yeah.
I'm not the same Manny I was. You're not meeting the Manny from back then.
Yeah, no,
You'll never
absolutely,
be able to. My daughter doesn't know that Manny. She never will. I can give her stories of it, but she'll never know him.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because it wasn't something that you asked for. Accept it, grieve over it, but then embrace the new Manny, which is what it's taken the work. It's taken a lot of work. Embrace the new person that you've become, and embrace what you have to bring to the table. Adjust to the changes, own the changes, but you have to come to a point where you can look at yourself in the mirror and go, I still love you. You're still a good guy. You still have benefit to everyone around you. You just have to adjust yourself because you've changed a little bit, and just continue to love as best as you can. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's really what it comes down to. The therapy is there. Be honest and seek it, but it really comes from inside of you. You have to rewire yourself, because for the longest time, I saw myself as so broken.
Yeah.
I saw myself as less than. And I had to get to the point where I'm like, I'm different, but I'm not less than. And I have to love everybody a little bit differently maybe, but I can still love them just as much.
Yeah.
And that mindset has to come in. It's not going to be easy. I can't blow smoke and sunshine and butterflies. To all you who suffer through a traumatic brain injury, brother, sister, I understand you. I send you my love. It's not going to be an easy battle, okay? But it's worth it, okay? It's worth it to come out on the other side and have a different perspective on yourself and on life than the initial one, because there are going to be dark days, but there's so much more. There's a brother I know who's a combat vet Marine who suffered not a duty-related injury, but post-injury suffered a really bad brain TBI. And that man handles his business, has his own business, and I'm so proud of him. And I love him. And we talk and we're real. And he talks to me when he's feeling a certain kind of way. And he asks me how I'm feeling when I'm a certain kind of way. And when he's feeling a bit off, I don't take it personal. And he knows that if I feel that way around him, he knows where it's coming from. And he has a successful business here in Oklahoma that he's working. And he's doing his thing and handling himself.
Excellent.
And so I can testify that, yes, it is difficult, but when you turn back into yourself and you build up from within, it's a bump in the road, but it's not a wall. It's a wall you can climb over.
Absolutely.
But it has to come from in here. It starts with you looking at yourself and saying, I can adjust to this and I can overcome it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best that comes to mind right now.
Excellent. No, that's perfect. All right, man. Well, Manny, I appreciate you once again,
Absolutely.
my man. Absolutely.
Right on, brother.
And we'll see you back again soon. I know how this goes.
Oh, absolutely. I'm around, man. You'll see me soon.
That's it. Appreciate you, buddy.
And God bless to everybody. And whether it's your weight loss journey or an injury, any injury, because this applies to any other, not just brain injury. If you have a faith, cling to your faith. If you don't, whatever it is that helps you to focus, grab onto that focus and push forward. There is light at the other side. God bless you.